Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Veronica DAN-IKPOYI, and as usual, I have my beautiful co-hosts here. Ladies, good morning. It's Friday, and we are looking the part.
Oh,
did we plan it, Mariam?
No, we did not, but great minds think alike. So. I love your orange neck piece, and also the whole ensemble.
Thank you. Thank you. So how are you doing? What's the plan for the weekend?
Fine. What's the plan for the weekend? There's not much. My daughter turns 7 on Sunday, so I guess that's the only thing. But it's just lunch, nothing fantastic.
Ayima is going so fast. Like,
I'm telling you, the children are going so fast. Yes. We'll also have a special shout-out, birthday shout-out. My son asked me to give today. He said, Mommy, do you know today is Sanwo-Olu's birthday? So happy birthday, Mr. Governor, from my son.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So we join Mariam's son and all happy Lagosians.
Yes, to the governor.
Yeah. Wish the governor happy birthday.
Papa is looking all bright and beautiful.
Yeah. I'm feeling very, very favored and blessed. I had very busy past 2 days, and it was like God saved me from a very, very bad deal. You know, there's something, and I'm sharing this story because many people enter new industries and they don't take out time to investigate and talk to other people. So entering real estate, I started talking to many other people that are in the industry. On Wednesday, I had a meeting and I told the woman I had a meeting with, who is like, had 15 years experience in the industry, and she told me, check that deal again, talk to another person. The land was acquisition, but I didn't even know it was a committed acquisition, which meant that I would have just wasted my money acquiring.
What does that mean?
A committed acquisition means that the government has a stake that is not going to be released. Acquisition, you can pay the government to get ownership, but if it's a committed acquisition, they have a plan for the area already. And these Omonilers were willing to sell. They told me, yes, they know, they were willing to. So if I just entered, you'll be in court forever trying to get your money out. Wow. Many people, we really need to investigate. And when you don't know, you don't know. So seek knowledge. Yeah. So I feel very, very like
grateful. We're happy for you too.
I'm also told today is Femi Gbajabiamila's birthday. That's
wow.
Our House of Representatives.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Mr. Speaker.
Happy birthday.
We do wish you a long life and prosperity as well. Obi.
Yeah, I'm doing amazing. The weekend has come. I think I'll be having a get-together tomorrow. So I've been doing this mentorship with Lanre Olushola's Academy as an alumni. So it's supposed to be like a one-year mentorship, about 50 of us. So tomorrow, those of us in Lagos are going to be having like a get-together.
That'll be cool.
So we're going to eat, watch movies, play, you know, just unwind.
Excited,
yeah,
looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it, really.
Having great conversation. There's nothing as good as having great conversation with persons who are of like minds.
Yeah. And you have shared goals that you're working towards.
Then you also improve on whatever it is you're working on, and then
your ideas will just catch fire.
And then reconnect with some persons. Your ideas begin to catch fire. You just begin to see some areas that you didn't realize.
What are your own plans? What are your own plans?
Because you've been looking forward to Friday, so what are your plans?
I said it before.
You want to go to sleep. There's another prominent birthday. Apostle Joshua Selman.
Yes, yes.
Apostle Joshua Selman. Hey, as in, you know, some people you hear, you encounter their ministry and your life just
never remains the same.
Something just shifts on the spiritual level. Apostle Joshua Selman, you're a blessing. God bless you. God continues to bless you and bless you. That's just it.
God bless you. That's it. You are blessed already. So we're just adding more blessings to it for you. And we hope that the Lord will continue to use you as usual. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll look at the papers. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, so we begin with the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and the major headline is allegations of Southerners provoking North. Ohaneze, Pande, Fafenifere take Arewa Forum to task. Well, and then we have some other stories here. 774,000 jobs. We've paid 24 billion naira to 413,630 beneficiaries, Kiamu saying. Now, 2023, INEC launches online portal for voter registration. That's an interesting one. Then Buhari off to London on medical trip today. Almost all the papers have that, and I think all of us have that story this morning. We have anti-media bills. Media can't be cowed, Oshoba, Joda, CMLA, others. Africa faces fast-surging COVID-19 third wave, says WHO. 4,708 persons experienced moderate to severe effects after COVID-19 vaccination. The federal government speaking there. Now, CBN asks farmers to pay back APB loans, despite the farmers saying that it's quite difficult for them to pay. So who has the major story here?
So I have the major story. Yeah, so the paper carried that there were comments made by the Secretary General of the Arewa Consultative Forum, and that it meant they were saying that Southerners were actually the ones provoking the North into to spark up crisis in the country. I wanted to quote what they said in the meeting. The North is sick. We have Boko Haram, we have banditry, we have kidnapping, we have rustling attacks on the Northerners and the South, where many lost their property and investments. Above all, the Southerners are doing so to spark reactions from us so that the country will go up in flames. But we are saying no. So Afenifere, Ohaneze and Pandef reacted. They said, first of all, Afenifere was like, I'm not going to base my reaction on this report right now, because they had actually sent out, I took that story yesterday where they sent out a letter that they wanted, them to have the southern governors, the northern governors to come together and have a meeting. So he is going to wait for that meeting, and he's hoping that likely the meeting will be genuine and it will have all sincerity. Now, I think another of the groups spoke and said, the Southerners are actually not cattle rearers, so they can't even be rustling cattle. So they needed to sort out. I just feel that there's a lot of going back and forth. I thought the agreement, was that we're going to come together and find ways to solve the problems of insecurity across the country. So let's not be bringing out, they now said it's the South or it's the North.
It's a reflection of distrust.
Already.
Yes, so people don't trust the other section and having that conversation, but that conversation is actually important as we speak. Mariam, you have a story here?
Yeah, I have a story. I want to go CBN. So follow-up, I think I took the story last week, Wednesday, concerning farmers who took the loan on the Anchor Borrower Program from CBN, saying that they would be unable to pay back the loans, many of them citing reasons for their inability, insecurity, banditry, and all of that. Now, the CBN Kaduna branch controller, that's Malam Ahmed Wali, while distributing rice paddies, mentioned that everyone who took loan from the Anchor Borrower Program, upon maturity, should ensure they pay. That the Anchor Borrower Program is a long-term program, and we cannot afford to have defaulters right now. I was waiting to see where it would state his understanding of what has been happening in the country and the lack of security infrastructure, which has led to why people are saying they will default. He didn't address that. He just said that this is a long-term program. The money needs to be rolling, and that right now the rice paddies that they are giving to farmers is to ensure that the price of rice crashes. That currently a bag of 50 kg rice is going for 29,000 naira from the warehouses, and the prices are really, really high. But that when they provide rice paddies to farmers in the farm, local smallholder farmers, they are able to crash down the price of rice. I'm waiting for the CBN to address the issues raised by several farmers across several parts of Nigeria on why they are unable to pay.
Okay, so I'll take the story on INEC launching online portal for voter registration. The Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, launched the online portal for voter registration. And it is saying that people should not be afraid because some cross-section of the populace feel that they will be disenfranchised. So it is allaying their fears that there will still be physical enrollment across 2,673 centers across the Federation to cater for those who do not have access to the internet and persons living with disabilities. And they are also going to ensure that this process is, they believe it's faster, and it's to ensure that there is nothing like overcrowding, just because of to observe the COVID-19 protocol. And since everybody have access to phones, that will make it easier, the internet and all of that. So
it would even improve the participation of young people.
But the INEC admitted that there is threats to the process because of security challenges, that the physical registration might be threatened in some locations because of the physical insecurity going on in those locations. So advising as many people to opt for the online, even though they have a lot of centers, but as much as possible opt for online.
They might have to create centers where people who do not have can go and register. And
that's
do
in the works as well, that they're making sure that we get more polling centers going forward.
They have not addressed my situation, though. I don't have my voter's card. I have registered. I checked twice, as in two elections. And they print my husband's own. They did not print my own. I registered one after the other. So,
all right, let's go to the Punch newspaper. Now, the major headline being Buhari leaves for UK checkup as doctors threaten fresh strike. President going for medical follow-up returns July presidency speaking. We have Kwara billionaire's 28-year-old grandson dies. Residents suspect suicide. Court hears suit alleging Atiku citizenship, September the 22nd. Emirates makes a U-turn, accepts Nigeria, South Africa, Indian passengers. Tokwe should be excited.
I am.
Amatekun consults residents as robbers right Oshun community demand 20 million. Now, FDB, that's the Africa Development Bank, unveils 10,000 megawatt solar-powered plan for 250 million Africans. We are investing $1 billion, I beg your pardon, in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Two others, the federal government speaking there. NPC, NBC amendment bills against Constitution attempt to criminalize freedom of expression. Falano. And we still have the Afenifere Ohaneze Pandef insisting on restructuring ahead talks with the Arewa Consultative Forum. But I have the major story here.
Can I take the human interest story first?
First? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the grandson of the multi-billionaire Prince Samuel Adedoyin Shubomi Olobayo, they said, has died, and they're alleging, suspected that he may have committed suicide. I really hate to take this story because in the paper it describes how he was found with bedsheets around his neck and dangling. I mean, this must be a really tough time for his family right now. And many people are questioning that for someone who had such a bright future, comes from a really well-to-do family, you know, just seemed to have everything working for him. What could possibly have led a young man like that, given his circumstances, to do something like this? And some people have said he suffered depression for many years, and that usually he has a friend who would come around and lift his mood. Spirits. But this particular day, his mom wasn't in town, and he was alone. I think the other parent was at home as well. So really sad, and our hearts go out to the family.
Sad story. All right, let's look at this major headline, which is almost on all the papers this morning, talking about the president leaving for the UK for a follow-up, a checkup, follow-up. That's what it is.
After the March one.
After the March one. And he's said to be returning in July. His special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, was the one who made the statement, who put out the statement. He said that the president is just going to do a follow-up and then to return in July. But the issue on the minds of a lot of persons, especially the National Association of Resident Doctors, is the fact that they've gone on strike, and they are threatening to go on another strike,
and yet,
because they had an agreement with government, and government is reneging on it. So, and now the president is going out on a medical trip.
Veronica, so, I think all of us did not even jump at that story because we've said it several times. It's obvious the president isn't going to listen to us and not go on a trip. I think that at this point, the president, we are already going, you can go, but please just take care of us that we are here, that we don't have anywhere to go. Those of us that we have nowhere to go, let us not go to the hospital and they'll say because they are on strike, we can't get treated and we'll be losing lives that are avoidable. When someone in his 70s is taking care of himself and going for follow-up in the UK, those of us that we are in our prime.
I was also saying to you earlier, I said that what will be breaking news will be to hear that the president has gone to a local hospital for his follow-up checkup. Many people would...
that would be breaking news.
You will be shocked.
All right, before we continue, we'll quickly take a short break. When we return, we'll continue looking at the papers. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the Punch newspaper. Obi, you have a story?
Yes, so 7 persons died, including a pregnant woman on a crash that happened at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and another one happened again at Obaile in Ondo State. So the one that happened at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was a pregnant woman who was in a bus conveying tomatoes. I think she's a trader. And there was also another Mazda bus that was laden with Gary. And so this actually happened 5 a.m. at the Danko area of the highway. The Gary bus, Mazda, lost control and ran into a runaway truck, which led to multiple accidents. So a lot of cars now crashed on each other. And the people who died have been deposited in the morgue. Now, the one that happened at Obaile also, this happened at the airport road. 2 persons died on the spot. Said the Toyota car lost control and ran into the bullion van which belonged to the CBN, and jumped over the road, and people died. So there's a pattern here that I see, losing control that causes the accident. So we know already that we have very bad roads, and I think we need to start, training our drivers to put speed limits on the road, train our drivers not to get carried away, because some of them actually tell you that they can run over 100 kilometers, over 120.
They drive on that road frequently. They tell you that they understand
the routes.
But you can't really predict these things. Anyway, this story here is of major concern to me. Amotekun Consulting residents as robbers right Osun community demanding 20 million naira. Now, the residents of Olofa Estate of Fatedo, Osun State, are living in fear now because of this letter. Because, and in that letter, they cited that the suspected robbers threatened to kill all the guards in the community, adding that no house will be spared.
Oh. Wow.
Now, they say they must contribute, everybody in that community must contribute 20 million naira, and some persons are already leaving the community, moving to the state itself. Now, the thing is, some persons now spoke that the Punch newspaper spoke with the field commandant for Osun Amotekun Corps, Mr. Amitolu Shitu, and he said that they are aware of the letter, though no formal report has come from the community.
So they're waiting for a report.
But they are on top of the matter.
Okay.
That's what they said. So we hope that this issue will be resolved.
Not resolved. It must never happen.
It shouldn't happen.
So
they already have
should be put a
report
station there.
Yes. Some are even saying that they should bring in more security officials into the state so that they can address
visible
this
police
issue.
presence in the place.
Okay, one quick issue I'd like to address is the picture story here. The NYC Director General Brigadier General Shaibu Ibrahim in Udege community of Nasarawa State during the Health Initiative for Rural Dwellers campaign of the scheme. We talked about that yesterday as well. But let's move now to the Daily Sun. The major headline, Defense Chief Irabo attacks Shegumi because of the alleged soldiers' collusion with bandits that Shegumi spoke about, which we took yesterday. Buhari goes to London for medical follow-up. INEC admits security threats at registration areas. Onion producers hail Uzodinma for brokering peace with South. Tension as gunmen storm Abuja Hotel, kidnap 6 guests. Owner, 5 bandits killed, 2 arrested in Niger. Who has what story?
Okay, so I have the story in Abuja, a village near Zuba. It was reported that gunmen stormed this hotel and they abducted 6 guests and the hotel owner as well. Among the guests is a prince of Igala land and also a former lawmaker with the Kogi State House of Assembly. They said that particular area is well known for kidnapper, banditry, hoodlum activities, and that motorists, villagers, road users tend to face attacks from these people on a daily basis. Of course, there's a manhunt that has been launched to find the people that took this lawmaker and the prince of Igala land. There's also, yesterday, Niger State had put together like a force, a security force to help fight the terrorism, the banditry that's happening in the state, and they moved So early hours of yesterday, the particular area where those Islamia school children were abducted, the bandits came again, of course, on motorcycles, AK-47, shooting sporadically. They took, they rustled people's cattle, you know, they took their property and they went into the forest. Luckily for the residents, the security force went after them. They were in a gun battle. They were able to shoot, I think, 5 of them. Some of them sustained some wounds. And they were able to also recover the cattle that were rustled, some of their property, and also there's a continued search for the remaining bandits that ran away. So that is good news for Niger State.
The major story?
Yeah.
So the Chief Defense Staff, Lucky Rabo, yesterday debunked the allegation by the Islamic cleric. We took that story yesterday, Sheikh Gumi, that soldiers were, you know, colluding with the bandits. So according to the Chief Defense Staff, they said that those thinking that are actually hallucinating and they need their heads examined. That what is happening right now is that the military, the federal government is engaging retired senior military men because of their experiences across the 6 geopolitical zones to help tackle the issues of insecurity, the kidnapping, the banditry, and the likes. And they're also assessing operational engagements to ensure that it's intelligence-driven and ensuring that bad elements would be exposed. So that anybody saying they are having collusions or colliding with the bandits are not, they don't have their story straight. I would not, I see, so we need to stop, you know, going back and forth on when somebody makes a statement. We need to focus on the issues at hand. Do we have these issues? Are we noticing these issues? Then go ahead and do your investigation.
I think the Sheikh is not the first person to say that.
People have been saying that. We have issues. I think we should Wadume's case now, we have not till today. We've not seen prosecution till today. And we knew it was...
there was evidence.
There was evidence. We knew that.
We lost 2 gallant police officers.
Till today.
So.
I don't know.
Okay, who has this Onion Producers Healing News?
Okay, I wanted to take it with another story because I think it will make sense for the story.
All right, let's quickly move on then to the news direct. 2023 confusion, Senate backs creation of additional constituencies to support INEC in defining electoral boundaries. EFCC nabbed 3 over 3.5 billion naira Ponzi scheme in Sokoto. We will not pay ghosts in special works program, Kiyamo. We also have the story. We've refunded $300 million NNPC deposit. Paula is okay. Another ASU strike will throw Nigeria's educational sector into disarray. Engineering body honors NCC for contributing to economic development. We see a picture story here of Dangote, the president and CEO of Dangote Industries Limited, and President of Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, where Dangote received the highest civilian honor in Cameroon, the commander of the National Order of Valor, during his visit. But then, what story? Your uncles...
okay, go ahead.
Your uncles have been decorated. I'm told that's your uncle.
Yes,
your uncle.
We need to change him, please.
No,
we need to find another uncle now.
We're not changing him. He's our uncle.
They are honoring him in Cameroon.
We're honoring him today.
We are also honoring him.
We need to change him. I have my receipt.
You have your story.
Yes, I want to take the story of EFCC and Ponzi scheme. You know, it's my industry now, and anybody that is talking investment that is bad, we need to highlight what they did wrong. So between February last year, 2020, to August, a total of over 3 billion naira passed through a UBA account set up by 3 Nigerians within Sokoto State. The funds, all the funds generated within that state. The 3, let me mention their name here. Benson Kufrejon, Joseph Irabo, Eseosa, and S.A. Marcos. The 3 of them set up a company that was promising 200% return on investment, 60% return on investment over a short period of time, and they were flagged down by EFCC since last year. So they've been on the run, and they were searching for them. And they had bought properties, exotic buildings in Lekki, in Lagos. They bought properties in Port Harcourt, in Akwa Ibom. They bought cars of 300 million naira. Like they were living large off other people's sweat, you know. And now they've been charged to court. The investigation has been concluded. This is one good job by the EFCC that we must acknowledge.
Yep.
Interesting. It's good to see that we're getting justice with regards to this thing.
Let's get the funds back then.
But then let's quickly go on this break. When we return, we'll come to you, Obi.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We are still looking at the papers. BEECEE?
Yes, so we remember the 774,000 jobs that Daily Trust carried out a report, and some of the participants claimed that they hadn't received some of their money. Some had received, some were underpaid, and all of that. So that has elicited responses from the Minister of Labour, Festus Keyamo, and he explained that the federal government will not pay ghosts. And if you do not have your proper verifications, your BVN and the likes, they will not be paying, they will return the remaining money, the balance, to the coffers of the federal government. But he is also assuring Nigerians that this program has come to stay.
All right.
That if they may not be able to get up to 774,000 people, but if they can pay up to 600,000, they would have achieved a lot. And since the Federal Executive Council has, approved this, it's going to be a yearly event as a way of lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty.
Yep. All right, so a major story happened yesterday, which is our hot topic, because this is our hot topic segment now. And that has to do with the 21-year-old girl who was arrested for the alleged killing of the Super TV CEO classmate, who was arrested, rather, and paraded yesterday for killing the Super TV CEO. And yesterday, that incident has generated a lot of reactions across the country. But then for us to have a proper understanding of what transpired, what went on, as well as what happened yesterday, we'll play you a package now, and then when we return, we'll have that conversation. Stay with us.
After hours of waiting, the suspect walks into the venue of the briefing. As she sat down, the 21-year-old was deep in thought. The short-lived relationship started in March at a beach when her friend's boyfriend introduced her to the deceased. These exhibits are what she wore on that particular day she allegedly killed Osifo Ataga. Police say both her clothing and her handbag had blood stains when they were retrieved from her.
On Tuesday, she departed, left the man inside. So when the man did not come out on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I think, those who are evacuating the trash bins, so went in to do their normal duty and discovered that the door to the apartment was a bit half opened. So the door was opened and to remove the trash, and the man was found on the floor in the pool of the blood with boxers only on. And we started our investigation, so started doing all the leads. And God's willing now, yesterday night, we were able to track her and got her arrested. She recorded disappeared now with the man's ATM card, which she said the man gave to her voluntarily, and colleague gave her the PIN, with which she thereafter went to make some withdrawals. So from that, when we got now, we blocked that line. And the man's driver license, and equally, so the man's other documents, the bank statement, the bag the man took there. So she went with all those things. And we recovered all those. And
according to her, hard drugs were usually part of the adventure. She said late Osifo suffered 3 stabs.
The first one was twice the distance, the first one on the neck side. That was the first one. And then when I stabbed into the first one twice, I threw the knife on the bed. Then he was going for it while I went for it. So while I laid on the bed, that's when it came on me to hold the knife, and that's when I managed to stab him with the knife.
The murder suspect confirmed that she used a foreign number to book for the short service apartment.
It's an app that generates numbers.
How would you do that?
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. I withdrew some money from it.
How much?
About 380. 5 million wasn't withdrawn from his account.
The suspect was tracked and arrested at her parents' residence in the Yaba area of Lagos. She will have her day in court. Ivy can.
Well, that's the story. And 21-year-old, the issues are all over the place for us to talk about. Her father, as we hear, according to a report, has been arrested because he was resisting the arrest of his daughter. But this is quite worrisome. I mean, for those as parents, and when you look at everything happening, a 50-year-old man killed, involving a 21-year-old girl, drugs also involved, so many issues. But then let me begin with you, Mariam. What's your reaction to this story? Because yesterday, I wonder how it was for you.
Yes. Okay, so, you know, at first you hear the story of a man being killed by a 21-year-old. I felt real sadness for the family of the man, his wife, because his mother also was on social media. She had sent a message, a birthday message, to her son on social media, celebrating him, not realizing he had already been killed, because his birthday was the next day. And, you know, she came out this on social media and she was like, they've killed my son. Now there's his wife as well. And then I saw this interview and I saw the child that did this thing. And I just felt so sad, allegedly. And I felt so sad for her because that's the end of her life forever. This is it. You know, I'm looking at her, she's speaking. She would be in court, she'll be in prison. If it goes through the court and she's convicted,
worst case scenario,
you know, that's, yeah, worst case scenario, life. She'll be in prison for life.
Some would say that a 21-year-old is not a child, though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
She's an adult.
Yes, so she will face the law. She is not juvenile delinquency. Is not. She will not be in. You know, she will be in real prison where she will meet hardened criminals. It's sad for the parents that raised her. She's in her 3rd year in the university. I mean, there was so much ahead of her. Now it's all bright. Now it's all gone. For what, really? For 380,000 naira that you would have one day grown up to earn even many, you know, millions and millions over. So it's truly just a sad story all round.
So many layers, like onions. You keep peeling and you're crying. You keep peeling and you're sad. Once again, my heart to go out to the family of the wife, whose family and private relationship is now public discussion.
Blown out there.
You know, whose personal pain has now become funny questions of, so when he touched you, how did he do it?
Should that question be coming?
She can't grieve normal grieving for the fact that she has lost the father of her children and her husband. But now her grieving process is now truncated with the fact that he had illicit affair that led to his death. He had drug issues. He was spending money. You know, like there's a whole lot. I cannot imagine what she's feeling.
Yes.
What the children will be going through. They should be mourning their father, and now they are hearing the father didn't just die. Like he was not just murdered. There was a lot of other drama involved. I feel there are many other actors to this scene is just first scene.
It's a feeling. It is not being proven.
Yes, I feel that there are many other actors in this film because that girl, to a man at 50, that girl is a small girl. How did she overpower him? There's just so much that I feel they need to investigate more. So now
they are taking drugs.
Then there is the evidence quote that was on the floor.
That's another.
Like the police patrolled the lady, she was talking, and then there's a video showing the evidence on the bare floor, the clothes that has evidence of blood. How are they supposed to test? I thought the process would be confirm the DNA on the blood, do all of those things.
They were blood stains. They said they were have blood stains.
And then to the point of, what should a 21-year-old be doing with a 50-year-old? And my thought was, I was 21. Every 50-year-old at 30-something years toasting me. This is what happens in our society. Because this is coming out now, and I'm saying, what is a 50-year-old doing with a 21-year-old? They've been doing it everywhere. And we don't talk about it.
So perhaps this is an opportunity to actually talk about
the real issue. Leave girls alone.
Yeah.
I felt, I don't even know what to say, but it's a lose-lose situation for both families. You don't wake up to envisage this sort of thing happen. And when we really want to talk about what is a 21-year-old doing with a 50-year-old, we have 11, 12 that are married to 60, 70, exactly. We have that. We see, we have, if not that this happened, he could have woken up one day to say, I'm going to take her as second wife. We have all of that. So it starts from that relationship. Yeah. It's what the society
has accepted.
Yes, exactly, has accepted. And it's not, you know, it's when something happens that you, on hindsight, you now start, this shouldn't have, this is not the right thing to do, but it's something that we accept and we celebrate. We have parents who, their children go from school, come home, bring things, decorate the house, change the settee and all of that. And we clap for them, well done, God bless you. We're not asking questions. We're not asking, where is this money coming from? I really don't even understand what she would be doing with that amount of money in the first place. I don't know how much the school fees is. It was like a federal school, so I don't think it's that amount of money that she would need.
Don't buy iPhone.
Exactly. So we have the society celebrates people who have the best things of life and makes every other young person, instead of focusing on their academics, what is going to make you have value, give value, and get money later, you want to acquire. You at that age, we weren't even thinking, we didn't even have phones. We had touchlights, and they even had people who had big phones. Were we not seeing it when we go for competitions? We see that, but our focus wasn't on the big things of life. Materialism wasn't this bad. So the society has encouraged this, and we see these people who feel that because I'm doing this with this sort of person, I think it's time for us to start asking questions. And you know,
we need to go on break.
May I just land this thought
quickly?
I wanted to say that if, as a human being, you need to care for your family in terms of how you act, how you behave, because if anything goes wrong, it's going to rub on the innocent people.
It's a rub off on everybody. Let's quickly go on this break. We'll have the conversation afterwards. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still staying with that story of the suspect that was paraded for murdering the CEO of where again? People TV? Super TV, yes. Super TV CEO, and it raised a lot of questions. No parent wants to see their children arrested. Right, but one of the issues that came to light was the use of drugs. And that is a menace that Nigeria is burdened with as we speak. The burden of drug abuse is a lot, especially amongst young people. And it's worrisome finding that a 21-year-old was also involved in this.
Yeah. Yes, you know, I like to take all the NDLEA stories. And every day it says that if we are truly aware, Nigerians are aware of the percentage of Nigerians who use drugs, and it's from age 19 to about age 60-something.
Some are even before 19.
Good. Yes. So this is a 50-year-old who probably your parents will say, go to uncle, let him advise you on this, your bad behavior. Meanwhile, uncle is also doing it with you. Do you understand? So there's no society again, Seth, that you can even run to.
Or even encouraging you to do it.
So now you're allegedly having drugs with this girl. I mean, when she was even naming the drugs so casually from her mouth, I'm like, she even knows the names. I don't even know any of these things. And, you know, it's one thing to be with a younger girl, much younger girl, a 21-year-old, but it's another thing to also involve her in drugs use. So if NDLEA had stormed that place, so they would have paraded both of you for using drugs or something. And it just shows the decay in the society, and it also sort of explains the materialism. So she's using drugs, and all she wants in her life is to be able to get some money and spend on herself. And then what we hear is that they hallucinate, they become emboldened.
In fact, these days, you see people, you see videos of persons using drugs and people filming them to see on the floor, rolling, displaying.
Exactly. So,
and people are there smiling. And
so
I'm wondering,
you become emboldened. So because I was like, how do you take a knife to a human being's neck and don't freeze? You know, how does your conscience...
You did it the first time.
How does your conscience not just arrest you and like, what am I about to do? But you're on drugs. So it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, you feel like you're Superman, Spider-Man, you're about to take on the world. That is what happened. You know, this drugs issue is a big issue. It's the reason for banditry, terrorism, hoodlums everywhere, and clearly, as we see today, murder.
It's sad.
So obviously, we all here would say we are against drug abuse. We are against drugs in every form. But I also think that we need to understand that these things have been largely normalized in some circles among these younger ones. It's a way of being indoctrinated. It's a way of feeling among, and we need to make contentment cool. We need to make being conservative cool, because I was 21, and there were many men that were after me, that were luring me with all the things that looked cool. But contentment was cool for me, and I knew I was going to wait for my time, and that all these things I will get it at the right time.
Do you think upbringing also played a major role in your life?
Obviously, because growing up, why would I bring phone? Would I bring a phone to the house? How would I say I bought the phone? Even a shoe. How would I explain I bought a shoe? You know, so there were things that my parents would question me on over and over again. We have parents encouraging girls to hustle. What do they mean by go and hustle? We have parents that will tell them, see your mates, go and hustle. You know what they do. You say, go hustle. When you say, if you buy us, bring flat TV, come inside house. Right. And those, frivolous things. I'm talking phone, TV, Veronica, car. And you're trading your child's future because of what you want to eat now. And many young girls are trading their life, their destiny, because they want to use the latest iPhone or Samsung or whatever. We must make being contented cool. We must make waiting for our time cool. We should stop doing this. Everybody's on Instagram. Right now, everybody is changing their shape. Veronica, that's everybody's changing shape.
Yes. 19-year-olds doing it. So these are the things that, put pressure. Those who are seen as superstars, the celebrities,
they're doing it.
You see their videos on social media, and everybody wants to feel like them. That's where the pressure begins.
Veronica, there's also a part that I would not want us to ignore, which is the fact that...
with regards to drugs?
With regards to this issue, because it could also be that stabbing happened as a result of self-defense. You know, everything is not black and white.
Did it the first time?
Hold on.
And second time, self-defense?
You went inside that place. Everything
I know, I'm just saying what she said.
Everything is not black and white. There's always a gray. There's always a color there somehow. And it would be unfair that we, sort of give her the public trial before proper investigations are done. Because the truth is, sometimes we always assume it's the elder person that is, teaching the younger person. Most times, it's even the younger who is indulging and, introducing certain things.
Because they are well aware.
Exactly, certain things to the older person. Yes, so very dummy, of course. When you're thinking with that part of your body, you don't think, you're not logical, you are looking for a relations with a younger person. You are going for only one thing. It's not like you want to better her life, you want to put her in school and all. You are going for that thing. And when you're thinking with that part of your body, your brain goes to sleep. So it's possible that the relation that they had...
and your brain is still sleeping.
Yeah, really? I'm talking about the drugs now.
Okay.
Yes, it's possible that it's even the young person who introduced the drugs. It's possible that when they started the relations and she sort of got tired, it was as a result of self-defense, because we didn't know how high they were. We didn't know what moved who to start hitting each other, whatever happened in that situation. I would like that she could have been with a lawyer. the interview, the questioning.
That will be the next
She
thing.
could have been, before that, she has already said everything. She has already confessed and all of that. She could have had a representation. That's how things are done in the civilized world. So that we don't have a case of somebody was saying something under duress. No, leave what lawyer is saying, not concerning their work they do. Somebody will not say somebody said something under duress. You know, it could also be that there are other major players in this, and it's not just her. But if a lawyer had been present, we may be able to now get some of this, a richness of that case, exactly, and not just hang it on one person. What if she was just a tool and there were major players who had something against?
Investigations are still ongoing.
Yes. So I think she could have been represented. That's how they do it.
All right, we'll have to go on a break now. When we return, we'll still continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about the suspect that was paraded for, murdering the CEO, the 50-year-old CEO yesterday. And Mariam, you wanted to talk about legal representation.
Yes, I do. I was looking at the report like we all were, and for me it was, I don't know if the way we watch it on TV, Hollywood, someone like that, first of all, she would have the right to remain silent until she has her legal representative beside her, and talking about the case, giving everything out.
But when they do some parade in Nigeria, we see them talk.
Yeah, so my own is I'm questioning this process.
Right.
Like, in many ways, we've heard cases being thrown out on technicalities. And sometimes we hear things like that. You've given out all the evidence and everything. A lawyer is able to sift through all that they've heard now, and when they get to the court, are we ensured that justice will be done, will be done because of how so openly. Tokwe mentioned the evidence right there. The way we see it in the movies, those things will be bagged, and then they'll be labeled, and it's just there. And look at the evidence and the bag. We saw blood on it. Well, tomorrow they say, well, it was actually round blood, because when I went to the market first to pack meat. Do you understand? So it just seems to me that this way that we handle criminal
it reminds me of the case of that girl who was murdered in Calabar, where the scene of the incident was said to have been contaminated and all of it.
Good. So the yellow whatever, I don't know if we have it here in Nigeria.
We do.
Good, but we hardly see it. So we should have seen that that place has been contained.
We use it.
Good. So we should have seen that that place has been contained. Maybe some people are able to
cordoned off.
Cordoned off. But we don't get that. And for me, I'm afraid that that is how we deal with many other issues. And we have cases being thrown out because of that. So we should rethink the way that we do these police parades.
And if you remember the kidnap kingpin, I've forgotten his name right now, who has later sued the police that his process of arrest was wrong.
Good.
His properties were taken before the case was tried, which is illegal, and he sued the police and was asking for compensation. This is a man whose case hasn't been tried yet. So there are places where, and I think I've asked Commissioner Nima when she said that, if you don't have a lawyer present, by the time your lawyer comes, the lawyer can say that everything you said
is null and void.
Was under duress.
Yes, that is not acceptable. So I think we need to work on building better, a more watertight case. And also, until a person is guilty, let's avoid this parade, and let's avoid having media pressmen. Pressmen are not investigators.
To be questioned.
They were paraded for them to be seen by the press.
Yes, I don't believe
so
pressmen
it is
should
left
be investigators.
For, they are not investigating. They allow them ask questions.
Yes.
So it is.
But you also legal representative beside you. Normally they will say
who should say, she can answer that question and no comment on all of that.
We need to evolve into a place where the police gather the information until there is a proper conviction. The police will be the only one that will give the media information on
These
what
are the
is going on
processes we need to
put into place. But this reads very, very bad on many levels. And I feel that we've touched on almost everything that happened in this situation. But there are friends behind the scene that know these things. And we have friends that accommodate our weaknesses because they feel like it's not my place to point it out. And this situation, we just see that, I beg, man, he get a leg, he use the money, go buy a babe. may go collect babe. What was my own to say anything? So we overlook. But it's important that we inculcate and have friends that can tell
you the truth as it is.
Yes, you are about to be 50. What till you they find? Why you they go book room? You know, like have those tough conversations.
I'm sure they do. Assume that everybody is open to their friends. There are people that are very secretive.
Yes.
They will do it for years. I'm sure you saw, you heard from the newspaper reports where some of the friends said, she's very quiet, she doesn't talk to anybody, she comes to class, she does her work and all of that. This man too may have his own friends.
Yes, he's searching for him, very disciplined.
Thank you.
Even if it was with someone, it had to do with work.
Thank you. So you could be that sort of person, or that person could be that sort of person who doesn't share. You don't even get to have an insight that this person can do this.
So you're living a coded life.
A coded life apart from your public life. I also want to say that our police is always in a hurry to score points. They just want to show that we have, we don't catch.
You think that's what it is?
Don't do yes, they always do that. So they don't settle down to follow through, and that's why we lose most of the cases that we could have gotten good judgments on. And I think that they should take a leaf from what happens internationally. They claim that they do training. I don't see an evolving anyway. We do the same things the same way all the time. They should learn how to handle cases like this so that they can, like Tokwe said, have watertight cases. It's very, very important
because she's
for the
still
development of the country.
Her face is not even supposed to be out there.
Tomorrow we could have new evidence that shows that she's not guilty. You have ended up embarrassing the poor girl outside. You've embarrassed everybody. Do you understand? So I think we need to upgrade. If we need to go for, we don't have money, we claim we don't have money. But the police needs, the police needs to upgrade. And if you have a friend, you're going to for a break?
No. I'm going just finish, land.
Okay. So if you have a friend who shares their excesses, it's right to tell them the truth. If you have one that you don't know, where will the truth come from? Because you don't even know this side of the person. It's just a very
so it's a reflection of the kinds of people we have around us. Like, if I'm your friend, I believe we should be open to one another. I believe, that's
so
what I said.
So that when we quarrel, you not expose me.
You see,
But it's the truth.
You see,
some people will be coded.
But I think that we unconsciously assimilate what is being done in our environment, like unconsciously. I'm on a diet. My husband, like, he didn't really plan it, but now every I go and drink, he's drinking it with me.
Yeah.
Mayam came on the show, no MSG, no MSG. Little by little, everybody here is migrating to no MSG. You know, like, there's things that you would just rub off. Yeah. So try and be around people that the things they are doing, like mind rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
let me tell you why it's different in Nigeria. In Nigeria, there's a culture and there's a lifestyle where men can date younger people. So even if you don't do it yourself, which is good, you are in a bigger society that sees it as cool. Many people will hang out with their friends. I don't know if you hang out with their friends and everyone is coupled with someone that is not the wife.
And they're okay with it.
Yes, it does not raise any eyebrows. It's fine. In fact, they'll be hailing you with the latest because, like, whoa, bro.
That's why you catch.
Exactly. So it's not even so many people that are even different. They are like the more disciplined ones. They are
seen as alien.
But you know, when this conversation started, many things I've heard from men. Nobody is blaming this man for being with a 21-year-old girl.
They are not.
You know that the 21-year-old girl is a witch.
Yes.
Because he's a man, it's okay. What if the girl is doing things that the wife cannot do? You know, things like that. So Nigerian men, before they come for me, I say not all Nigerian men, but most Nigerian men in the lifestyle is okay to be with someone like that.
It is okay
to do things.
It's as much as we have our opinion about these things, we see it as not okay, but others see it as being okay.
Yes.
But my concern here, again, is the impact on the families involved.
No, that is not the saddest part.
It is basically not okay, for my own opinion.
That's the saddest.
The impact on his wife.
The children.
Who holds a position that is respected, as it has been said.
And now she'll be pitied.
Her children or his children to school. Now the parents of the girl.
The girl, yeah.
The parents of the man.
The parents of the man, it's the father that was arrested because he was resisting the arrest of his daughter. The impact. So a lot of persons should perhaps begin to take this as a lesson and reevaluate things if they find themselves in this circle. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We'll take some tubes now. Let's get reactions.
Sam says, this mother CEO owned a telecoms firm. That's a money-making machine industry. I heard from a reliable source that the man won some telecom contracts from somewhere. Ola Didi said, I guess, okay, so someone was asking why would there be a knife in the first place in the hotel? And Ola Didi says, I guess the knife came from the food tray. Nilade said if she wasn't withdrawing money from his account, she probably could have claimed manslaughter, but killing him and raiding his account, that is premeditated murder. Goodsby said, yes, getting reporters to ask questions is just wrong. Police should give the reporters information about the case. Biliki says, Nigeria is a real jungle, I tell you. You are guilty until proven innocent. If ever proven innocent in Yale. Corey Williams said, in Nigeria, 21-year-old is still a baby. How many of us became independent at 21? Even at 30, most of us are still under our parents. How old was, they mentioned Regina Daniels when she married, and Sanusi when he married the 14-year-old. And Bilikis Morenike says, the right thing, there's motive for murder by any interested party on that deal. Money is a driving force. So this is more, throwing light on the other issues that we may not be aware of. And all speculation still, it's really proven.
It's proven. Yeah. And that's what we'll be waiting for. A lot of Nigerians we want to see justice being done and seen to be done at the end of the day. But we'll move quickly now to this next story, where there is a report that some ladies cut their single friends off once they get married. And once this married women, and when these married women are asked why, the blame change of status, having to cater to children, some even go as far as saying they do not want to be seen with someone who isn't married because their image will be affected.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, should these factors determine the continuity of such friendship? How can there be balance? Should it be encouraged? We'd like to hear your thoughts. So join the conversation and call us on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. Let's get your thoughts, ladies. Should these reasons, why would you cut off your friend? Because you're married or because you have children? Because she's single and all you have to focus. Is that a reason at all?
I've heard people say it, but I don't know anyone who has done it. So every time I hear about it, it's always when it's read out.
So how did you manage your single friend?
Yeah, but I can understand how it can happen because there's just change in just, the way that your life is going at the time. So you're both single, there's time to hang out, there's time to go to restaurants, there's time to go shopping.
To do whatever.
Yeah, so usually it's not even about maybe just immediately getting married, but maybe children have come in, so you're doing school run. So that 2 p.m. lunch that I would normally have, I can't do it because I have to go and pick up the kids from school. And I can understand how the single friend who feels, why am I the one always waiting on you to have time for me, may feel irritated, or the married person is thinking, but you understand I have new responsibilities. You should understand I have new responsibilities. I would not just deliberately cut you off. So I can understand that changes in situation can cause friction. But that's just the time to just sit down with your friend and remap how you go ahead.
How you guys can continue with the friendship.
I really don't know of one specific person that says, I don't want to be friends with you again because I'm married. I always feel that it's just gist. People say it. Or someone who finds themselves in a situation like that but has not taken the time to talk to the friend and say, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling neglected. I'm feeling like I'm the only person carrying this friendship.
Perhaps for someone to do that, the person does not value the friendship
in the
as
first
much.
place. Yes.
So, from my own perspective, I think that usually when you just get married, like if you're in love, I always promote the idea of you marry, love is shacking you before you marry. So when you now marry the person you are in love with, you
All
don't
your
have time for
attention.
anybody again.
For real?
My reality.
Okay.
I did not have time, like, there was no other person in my world. My world revolved around my husband, I'm telling you. And there are many people in that space. So you're trying to get used to the idea of marriage. And you're trying to get used to the fact that you need to be cooking in the morning. I wasn't cooking in the morning, preparing dinner. All of that wasn't my life before marriage. So a lot of things have changed for me upon marriage. And I was just still trying to cope with it. And then the honeymoon bubble, all of that. The next thing, you carry belly, you're vomiting, you're vomiting, you're vomiting. Please, there was no time to think of. If any friend that wanted to be my friend would need to be coming to my house and be calling me by him or herself, there was just no way I could maintain friendship. But personally, for me, I had more of male friends before getting married. And even though I tried to maintain that relationship a little bit, my husband was uncomfortable because he knew many of them had prospects. I just friend-zoned them. And in my mind, since I friend-zoned them, they are taking it as friendship, but he knew that they had intention. So you cannot say this person is just your friend. This person had intentions. You can't be a friend with that person again. So that was, I had like a mass cutoff, like block number kind of cutoff, like 3 months into my marriage, because I knew most of the friends I had then were men.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Because
Interesting. I think that, you know, what makes friendship thrive is when you have common goals and interests. When you sit together, you have things that you talk about, things in common. We're doing school, we're doing courses, we're modeling, we're, you know, doing things together. But when one person's status changes, the changes, it leaves you with less things in common to share. So because some people find it offensive when you're having conversations with them and like, my husband this, my husband that, and they now start feeling like, wow.
Now only you marry.
Wow. They may not come out.
Usually the friend is part of the relationship. Who's the boyfriend?
Right.
Who's the fiancé?
Right.
Probably
and they became friends.
Yes. So you assume that because they know when the progression was happening, that they were totally in sync with it, or they had totally accepted that you were moving on ahead. So one thing I realized is most friends are very competitive, silently. So you don't know, you don't see it. Everybody's happy for everybody. We're all feeling like we're happy for people. But then when a certain progression starts coming that probably that person has been wishing that it comes for her and it's not there yet. Maybe the person does not even have a stable relationship at the time. Yes, you would not know till they start, except if you are like me that can read subtle signs. So sometimes I see a lot of people go into that sort of friendship and then you see that one person is beginning to undermine the other person behind because you're not paying attention. But somehow it's there. They're happy for you, but at the back of their mind, hey, if say now me they marry, so, you know, then you now, because your conversation has changed, you now have more new things you have added to your life. And when we meet,
we cannot be gisting.
We can't be gisting the same. The gist changes. So when you not talk fine, Bob, I not talk about my husband or my baby and all of that. People who are not really, people who haven't worked on themselves.
Same space that you are.
Yes, or haven't worked on themselves. So there are people who are not on the same space, but they've worked on themselves to understand that it's your time. I'm really happy for you. Yes, and you can tell. So those ones will still find ways to still be friends with you and your partner, and it goes on for a long time. I've had friends like that. But there are others that, once you mention that husband, child, if they're uncomfortable, you can see it in their expression, they're uncomfortable, and they will be the ones to withdraw from that relation. They call you now, you know, pick again. Something came up and all of that. So it's not like we planned. Yes, it's not like we planned that we are going to break away from this relationship. But something just follows. You know,
sometimes when you find yourself in a position where your friend is drawing away because you...
Now, I was going to go there. Do you try to bring them back to see?
Because that's friendship too.
Understand
that
what
is friendship.
going on.
And it also depends on where the both of you are before this happened. So if you people have gone through, you'll be friends. I have friends that I married before that were still friends till today. In fact, they became closer to my husband than even me. And we're still maintaining that. I've had friends for 15 years. I've had friends for 20 years. I've had friends for 13 years and all of that. And our blessings did not come at the same time. I married before most of them. Some of them married before me. But because we had, the friendship had been tried and tested. They were my true friends and partners for this life. Anyhow we find ourselves, they will still be my friend. I will still be their friend. But there were some friends that I still had that had to break away because it was happening for you and it's not happening for me yet. And I can't stand seeing you being there before me.
And some actually rub it on your face. Yes. But I want to give an example, which is something that happened to me. I did the cutting off. Why? Okay, my friends, a majority of my friends are male. So it happens that oftentimes their wives are not comfortable.
Veronica is a fine girl.
No, that's not the issue.
I know. It's part of it. I know.
But they are not comfortable. And so when you realize, because I can also read subtle signs. Yeah. When you realize that, okay, somebody's wife gets across to you and says, okay, try to find some information, and then you realize, no, okay.
What's happening here?
What's happening here? Okay, she's still calling my husband. Are they still talking the way they used to talk as friends? Because we're close friends. And so I just had to, you know...
Take yourself away.
Take myself away, give that gap. And then he reached out.
Okay. Like, what's happening?
And I said, you know, I just played around it for him, and he got the message.
Yeah, he will.
And he left things like that.
Okay.
When I see such...
But the friendship might come back later.
Later, yeah.
Like, I actively cut off from a lot of my male friends. But now, we are back to being friends. One of my male friends then is a medical doctor. When my son coughs, hey, doctor, you know, my husband knows that I'm calling and that the person was a friend zone person. The one that is engineer Kiniko, this site is Kiniko. The relationship, because they are all now married and all mature. So we can now go back into the values of the relationship. But there's another category of female friendship that causes the rifts. It is when your friend's advice is not suitable for your marriage.
And you know that it's not suitable for your marriage, because some people don't know. Yeah.
Yes, when you have friends whose character, they are really kind, but their character, if you follow their advice, you will scatter your marriage. So, by yourself, you will not seek their opinion.
You will cut off.
You will cut off from them because you know the things they will say. So you mean you're cooking fresh soup for your husband. So you mean your husband is not bringing you breakfast in bed.
I segment people. I segment people.
Here. Yeah, compartmentalize.
This is here, that is there. I know who to talk to for what thing.
For what, exactly.
Yeah, so if it is spirituality, these are the people.
You might not be seeking advice from them. Okay. They might just come to your house and observe some things you're doing, and they'll be dropping
And when you tell me, I sift it, and I pick what I want.
Exactly. It has sense now. I don't understand.
So for me, I have a male. One of my very good friends he's male, and he watches the show. He comes to my house to visit. My husband knows him. His wife, his children. He's the uncle to my children. Do you understand? The relationship just evolved. I mean, we're now... And I got married many years before he did. I met his fiancée when he finally decided to be with her. You know, so that is the sort of relationship that I know and I understand. Because first of all, for you to be my friend, it takes a while. There's a process.
Absolutely.
Before I bring people into my circle, I don't just pick and, you know, and allow you into my circle. And I understand. So once you're in there, you're now trusted, you know, family. Because you meet my family members. My mom would know you, my sister, my brother. So for me, I guess maybe that's why I will not have those issues with friends. Then there's this thing that you were saying about when...
They rub it on your face, or what?
Yes, like the advice.
Okay, yes, the advice.
The friends that come, and then maybe you're in a different place, they're in a different place. When I used to work in the bank, I had friends that worked in the bank. I left the bank, I got pregnant, and, you know, and they were moving up the ranks in the bank. And I remember sitting with her, Sheila, and I was like, oh, you guys, I admire you. You know, she's dressed in corporate. I was in between. I think I was pregnant with my second child, looking really heavy and feeling just... And she was like, what? Do you know how we admire you? This is what you have. And just, you know, made me see, perspective, made me see where she was coming from and appreciate where I was. And that girl is like auntie to my children.
That brings to mind something.
So she was not intimidated by the fact that I was married and have children. Instead, every birthday she's there, she's calling, hope they're fine. She makes this cute bag she's sent to my daughter. So she just continued being a part of the family.
It brings to mind, you mentioned something about jealousy, and I'm wondering, how can we have healthy jealousy, so to speak? Healthy one. I admire you. something healthy.
Our God is a jealous God.
Wait, something that is healthy. Yes, I see something in you. I like it.
I would like to have it.
I'd like to have
me, as opposed
but
to
then
being
I am
bitter.
not bitter that it is not me.
And that's the health.
That's the healthy aspect of it.
Yes. So I think everybody has, we're made by a God that says he's a jealous God. Like you cannot have any other God except me. That's the height of jealousy.
Yeah.
You cannot have any other wife except BEECEE. That's me right now. You know, so, but the thing is, everybody has that bit of jealousy. What's jealousy? Basically, wanting what somebody else has. That's the definition of jealousy.
Is it?
Yes, according to the
so
dictionary.
to speak.
Yes, dictionary meaning, check it. Wanting what somebody else has. You know, you want it for yourself. That's jealousy. And we've been created with bits and pieces of it at different points in time, depending on your goals or your aspirations and how your life is turning out. But that is where we need to start working on ourselves to understand the motive behind the want. Am I wanting this because you have it and I feel you shouldn't have it, you don't deserve it? Or am I wanting it because it's actually what I desire to have, like you?
Like to have it.
And I like to have it like you.
And for some persons, it is, I can do it better.
And you know why was it? Jealousy is also, sometimes they have it, but they don't want you to have it.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They already have what you just acquired. But the fact that, how are you having what I have? It's not always about because they want what you have. They already have it, but they don't want you to have it.
The definition, jealousy is feeling or showing an envious resentment of someone, their achievement, possession, or perceived advantage. So it's that resentment. So it's already negative connotation. Jealousy is not admiring.
So how can you have something healthy?
Yes.
That it's not admiration.
I can be happy. I can see BEECEE bought new car. I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I see that inside the car. I say, I must buy for inside this car. I must drive this car around. I admire it. It's become jealousy when I start resenting that. How come she got car?
Yeah, but you know that we don't see the resentment, but you can show it by when they are celebrating.
Hold on. But I'm saying that you yourself.
Let's quickly take this call. Then we'll delve into all the argument. Dayo is calling from Abuja. Dayo, good morning. Wow. Dayo, are you there? Hello, Dayo. All right, Dayo is not there.
So what I was saying was, if you admire someone's achievement, you admire someone's possession, and you like it, and you like, I really, really like this thing, I really, really want this thing. It's not jealousy yet. It is when you start feeling bad that how come this person has it when I want it? How come this is something I'm praying for and I don't have it, and this person now got it? The person wasn't even asking for it.
How did you know the person was not asking for it?
The assumption, we just start feeling bad, and we're unable to purely from our heart rejoice with someone else's success.
So sometimes we feel that bad without even knowing that we're feeling that bad, but it can show in somebody
action
just tells you something,
and
instead of you to appreciate and, you know, see, there are people I observe that when something good happens to you, instead of them to focus, it's you we are celebrating today. Let us celebrate you today. That's when they will now mention that, this is exactly what I would like to have. At the same time that you're supposed to be celebrating that person. So sometimes we think we're not jealous, but we are, because we have not paid attention to. That's where self-awareness comes from. We have not paid attention to exactly how
a lot of people are not self-aware.
They are not self-aware. You don't know that you're in that space. Cool. So how do we come out of that negative jealousy where you feel this person does not deserve it, I'm better than this person?
That was the question earlier.
To constantly, you have
all
a
right,
call?
yes, we have a call. BEECEE calling from Port Harcourt. Hello, BEECEE, good morning. BEECEE, are you there? BEECEE seems... Volume. All right. Please call us again. Yes, you wanted to say something.
You know, sometimes I always feel that many women tend to always put women's emotion under envy. Like, we only expect women to either be angry or envious. We feel that if a person does not respond the way we expect the person to respond, that she's always envious. About envy or jealousy. And I wonder if we understand that women have like so many other emotions accept, you know, as well as that. Sometimes
and express it differently.
Yes, and express it differently. And sometimes it may not be envy. Sometimes the person just maybe does not even like what you have. And is thinking, oh, how do I tell her? I don't really think this. Do you get?
But if you're my friend, you should be able to tell me.
No, listen, I'm just saying, yes. But you're in a happy place as a friend. You find someone who's accepting. No, that's not the time. Exactly. That's not the time.
We can talk about timing.
Good.
But then, tell me some other time.
Timing. But also, you need to have a friend who does not think that everything that comes out of your mouth is coming out from a place of envy. Yeah. The person has to trust that, okay, she means well. She just sees it differently. And there's nothing wrong in saying, well, I know that's what you think, but this is how I feel about it. I love it and I'm excited. So my own is every time we talk about women and our relationships, we end to dump women in that place of envy. She was not so excited about it. I'm sure she's envious of me. And I question that, is it not because you have lots of envy that you are
see in that light? Yes.
Yeah, you see everyone in that light that you're envious. So sometimes we should give people grace. And when you're someone's friend, if you think that they have acted a certain way that you didn't understand, you felt weird, have that communication. Women don't have that communication. Women don't like confrontation. Women don't like to speak to others.
They don't like to hear the truth.
They don't like to have deep conversations. So we go very, very, hi, you look nice, you do. And then we move on. And then you would go and talk to someone else instead about how you think she was envious. Instead, this is my paddy. Sis, what was that about? I did not feel that energy, what's happening. And then you can get a true response about what that person was feeling.
And just something else going on in her own life.
Exactly.
Like she's dealing with her own baggage that she's unable to share because this is your own joyful moment.
Someone sent me a message one morning saying, celebrate me, this, that, stop being envious. And I'm wondering, okay,
what's happening?
Where are we? Where are we? What led to this conversation? Why would you think I am being envious or jealous of you because this has happened, or I didn't react in a certain way that you expected me to do? Yeah. I mean, we all react to different things differently.
And we judge people based on expectations we did not communicate.
Yes.
So I did not communicate my expectations, but you did not give me what I want, that I did not tell you I want, and then I'm judging you for your failure to meet up with an expectation that I did not communicate.
Okay, can we quickly take this call? Chidima is calling from... Oh,
I hear that Chidima name.
Chidima, please call us again.
Yeah, I also think okay, you want to say something? I also think that we assume a lot.
Yes.
Instead of, you know,
queen assumption.
You, Abby, you know yourself, we assume a lot. Okay, so I wouldn't blame us, because we all have a different nurture. You know, as you grow older, as you are more open-minded, you begin to work on certain things that could have nurtured you 30-something years of your life. Yeah. So because of our different backgrounds, and we've seen things handled differently, and everybody has found a way to sort of protect themselves from being hurt. Yeah. So if you are in a space where somebody is protective of that inner space, so they can let you in, you are my friend, but if you get to this place, I don't want to feel, I shut you out. Yeah. So if you have those sort of relationships, you see that there's always assumptions going on. Maybe that's exactly how, let me mind myself before I get into this space where I feel she has broken my heart. And you see there's a lot of coping mechanisms adopted to handle that relationship, because that's what the person knows best. That's how the person has seen, this is how I can engage people and not hurt myself. Everybody's selfish at the end of the day. We all, one way or the other, try to protect ourselves. But that's where, like Miriam said, conversation comes in. Have that conversation. But you have it at the time you're ready for that conversation. So like today now, somebody got me upset, and I'm not going to have this conversation today. I want to calm down to have it where I can be more logical, and I will, you know, put my words in a way that I wouldn't hurt her feelings, because I respect her. Absolutely. If I have this conversation today, we fight. But I don't want it. So give people time also to
now you are being considerate because
of how she will feel.
You see? Yes. Which a lot of people do not even have.
So going back to the girlfriends growing, it's looking like married women who no longer maintain friendship with their single girls. And I'll just like to read that girls growing apart. That how do we now bring back those friendships? Like you remember, oh, there was this lady, she was my very, very good friend in secondary school and university. Oh, but we don't see or talk anymore. Because really, life happens. There's a lady that I got her number because I just saw on Instagram saying, on Facebook saying she lost her dad as well. And I was like, this is my girl. She was my like 5 and 6 when we were in school. But we've just gone apart. She's married and living in another area of Lagos, and life has happened. But when I saw that, I'm like, no, you need to reach out.
This is an opportunity.
You know, so when life happens to us, as we grow, we should become more self-aware and notice things. And when we notice them, we should try and implement redress. Like, let me reconnect. Let me try and call this person. Let me check on this, my friend. Let me try and get her number or get his number and just ask, how are you doing? It's been a long time. Let's hang out. You know, and
I see my husband do that a lot. And he's in touch with all his friends.
Wow.
He reaches out to them, and I'm wondering, although I've learned a lot of that now, but I'm a work in progress. And it was a difficult one for me, because most of the persons that I brought close as friends ended up hurting me at some point or the other. So I had to protect my space.
Yes, I know that.
I think it's like, friendships are sweet. That's the truth.
No, it is.
Yes, but we always run away from the hard times when they come. Because they are human relations. I will get you upset. You get me upset. But friendship is about, we will get each other upset. We'll talk about it. We will move on.
But in the of friendships, I will not move. I mean, the hard times with friendship, I will not move on from that. I'll cut off. I don't like disrespectful people. I don't like inconsiderate people. I don't like people who will just come because I'm feeling a certain sort of way. I speak to you anyhow, and then tomorrow you expect I move on. For me, that's the end. Because you should have communicated what you wanted to communicate to me in a respectful way, in such a way that we can have a conversation and resolve it. I don't like people that just fight for the sake of fighting's sake, and I want
think about themselves alone.
Yes. So those are the sort of friendship I'll move on from forever and not turn my...
But if we are to strike a balance, like we have been saying, how do we ensure, yes, we have all of these responsibilities, but then we have that friend that we must carry along as it is, so that they don't feel neglected and build a healthy relationship. Because oftentimes, this neglect thing is always what is thrown at them, and they feel that is what is in their faces. How do we, keep a balance?
Okay, go ahead.
My husband calls me analyst because I will talk about everything. I feel a certain, I will call you and I'll have that conversation. It's about communication. You cannot have a relationship with someone and it would not thrive, it will not grow if you don't speak. That's the only thing. Like in marriage, with children, with everything, they need to know that we have a time where
the person is not ready to have a conversation. What do you do?
The person would know. So there's this person I know that even when we don't get to talk, we'll drop a message. And then after a while, when you go to your chat log, you see the person has sent you messages and you haven't said anything. You feel a certain way. Well, I would feel a certain way and reach out and speak to the person. So sometimes you would stoop. So you take the part of the bigger person, because you're understanding where the person is coming from. We need to also understand that sometimes some people are in a position where they need to feel the love. You draw them out with love. You kill them with kindness. So you pull them out, and then they can trust you because they know that you love me, you care for me, you're kind towards me. Yes, you have shown it, and then you earn that trust, and then they will have that conversation. So it's not I'm winning this. I've not talked to her in a meeting, I'll not talk to her. So that's not what friendship is about. Yeah. It's about just when the other person is weak, you're strong, and vice versa.
I think that there are people that we choose to love, and no matter what they do,
you still accommodate them.
Yes, you find a way to make. There are some people that you have made up your mind about.
People take advantage of that.
I know. There are some people that you have made up your mind about that have not done half of what the other person has done. But because you have chosen somewhere in your heart, for whatever reason, it could be that that's the person God has assigned to you on this path that we must go together. Because some of these things, we don't have words to explain why it happens the way it happens. And that's life in general. But there are some people that, because you have chosen to love them, you see the flaws, like they are piling up and all of that, but you still, after a while, you still, you still make room for those sort of persons. So those sort of relationships, you see that it's ongoing for a number of years. But there are some people that you feel, this is too much for me.
This is the end of your journey with me.
Exactly, and it's also okay. Yes. So whatever happens, your mental state of mind
is the most important
So if you're going to have somebody who in a relationship who's constantly not trusting, who's constantly feeling like this is how this relationship should be, and if you can't give me this vibe, just walk away. You too, walk away. It's not a big deal. But I love friendships. And I like that it's...
Quickly, because we need to wrap up.
Yes, I like that we can get to a point where if I've chosen you to be my friend, no matter what you do, we will talk about it and we'll move on from that. Yes.
Right. So let me quickly say that.
Quickly.
There are seasons when you just don't have the time to accommodate the emotional... Being a good friend it's work. It's emotionally, you have to be there for that person. You're not just meant to just... It's not just one thing. Yes, you have to give, and you have to be there. And sometimes you are not in that space. And sometimes you are not in the season for friendship. You just want to focus. There's something that you are driving at. Face it. When the time is right, you will make friends, and everything will be fine. But it's not every time that we must always be, I'm calling, I'm checking. Hello, I mean, this season. The only thing on my mind is like 360. The only thing on my mind for now.
But the most important
so
thing,
sweet. You don't think it's a burden.
But the most important thing that we have said here is to communicate. Just have that conversation and understand. No selfishness. Just understand this person, and then you know, okay, this person. This is the end of the journey for you. Your mental health or mental state, mental well-being is very important. That's where we leave it for the show this week.
Well-being.
Join us next week when Mariah returns.
We'll miss you.
All right, do have a fabulous weekend. Bye.
Bye.